Another year is about to begin, and before the numbers change, the heart deserves a pause. Not to celebrate, not to rush ahead, but to reflect honestly. How did this year leave you inside? Not in achievements or plans, but in sincerity, intention, and closeness to Allah. Time moves forward whether we are ready or not. Years pass quietly, carrying our choices with them. Some moments we regret, some we learned from, and some we never truly faced. Entering a new year without reflection is easy, but entering it with a clean heart takes courage. A clean heart does not mean a perfect past. It means a heart that is aware, humble, and willing to change. A heart that lets go of grudges, excuses, and delayed repentance. A heart that understands that another year is not guaranteed, and every beginning is a mercy. As 2026 approaches, this is not a reminder about resolutions or promises made in emotion. It is about intention, about what you carry forward and what you leave behind. Because when the heart is corrected, the direction of life begins to change. So before the calendar turns, take this moment seriously, because starting a new year with Allah does not begin with plans. It begins with a heart that is ready to return. Time moves forward quietly without asking for permission or offering reminders. Days pass, weeks disappear, and years turn over whether we are prepared or not. The arrival of a new year is not a promise that we will see another after it. It is simply an opportunity that has been placed in our hands. Treating time lightly often leads to regret later. Awareness turns passing time into meaningful moments. A new year does not arrive as a reward for survival. It arrives as a trust that must be carried carefully. Every day within it holds choices that shape the heart and direction of life. Assuming there will always be more time creates carelessness. Awareness reminds the soul that every moment matters. Responsibility begins with recognizing this truth. Time is one of the few things that cannot be stored or recovered. Once a moment passes, it never returns. This reality gives weight to every decision we make. Entering a new year with assumption dulls that weight. Entering it with awareness sharpens intention and focus. Awareness changes how you approach each day. It makes you pause before wasting hours on what brings no benefit. It encourages you to ask whether your time reflects your values. When time is seen as a trust, priorities become clearer. Distractions lose their power. Purpose begins to guide action. A new year often brings excitement and planning, but without reflection, those plans lack direction. Awareness requires looking back honestly before moving forward. It means acknowledging how time was spent and where it was lost. This reflection is not meant to shame, but to awaken responsibility. Growth begins here. Assumption whispers that there will always be another chance. Awareness reminds you that chances are limited. This reminder is not meant to create fear, but clarity. When you understand the value of time, urgency becomes healthy rather than anxious. Each day becomes an opportunity, not a burden. Seeing time as a trust reshapes daily behavior. Small actions gain importance because they accumulate. Moments of patience, kindness, and sincerity matter more. Awareness encourages consistency rather than bursts of effort. Long-term growth depends on this steady approach. A year can pass quickly when lived without intention. Awareness slows life down just enough to make it meaningful. It allows you to be present rather than rushed. Presence transforms ordinary days into purposeful ones. This is how responsibility is honored. Time entrusted to you carries impact beyond yourself. How you use it affects relationships, character, and future outcomes. Awareness considers this ripple effect. It reminds you that wasted time often leads to missed growth. Responsible use creates benefit that extends outward. Assumption often leads to postponement. Important changes are delayed because they feel uncomfortable. Awareness pushes action into the present. It asks why change must wait. A new year is not a reset button. It is a continuation that demands intention. When time is treated casually, regret follows quietly. Regret often arrives when opportunities are gone. Awareness protects against this by encouraging mindful choices. It teaches the heart to act while it can. Responsibility is exercised through timely action. A new year should not begin with empty optimism alone. It should begin with grounded understanding. Awareness balances hope with realism. It keeps expectations honest and effort sincere. This balance prevents disappointment and burnout. Responsibility toward time also includes rest and reflection. Awareness recognizes limits and avoids extremes. It understands that sustainable growth requires balance. Treating time as a trust does not mean constant pressure. It means thoughtful use. Each day of the new year arrives as a blank page. Awareness decides what is written on it. Without intention, pages fill with habits rather than purpose. Responsibility chooses meaning over routine. This choice shapes the entire year. When you enter a new year with awareness, you walk more carefully. Words are chosen thoughtfully, actions are measured, and priorities are clear. Time becomes a companion rather than an enemy. This mindset turns ordinary days into valuable opportunities. A new year is not evidence of endless time ahead. It is a responsibility placed before you right now. Awareness honors that responsibility by living deliberately. Assumption wastes it by taking it for granted. How you begin shapes how you continue. Plans give structure to the future, but they do not guarantee fulfillment. A person can have detailed goals and still feel lost if the heart is unsettled. What you carry inside influences every decision you make along the way. Intentions, emotions, and beliefs quietly guide direction. Without inner clarity, even the best plans lose their effectiveness. The heart determines how the journey unfolds. The state of the heart affects how goals are pursued. A heart filled with anxiety chases success differently than a heart grounded in peace. Motivation can come from fear or from purpose. When fear leads, progress feels heavy. When purpose leads, effort feels meaningful. Direction depends on what drives the heart. Carrying unresolved emotions impacts decision making. Regret, resentment, or pride can distort judgment. Plans made from a heavy heart often reflect that weight. Addressing what is carried internally allows plans to align more clearly with values. Inner clarity strengthens external direction. A heart burdened by comparison loses focus. Goals become shaped by others rather than personal purpose. This leads to dissatisfaction even when achievements are reached. Carrying contentment protects against this trap. Contentment anchors direction regardless of outcome. Planning without examining the heart risks repeating the same mistakes. Patterns persist when inner issues remain unaddressed. A clean heart allows new plans to take root differently. Change begins internally before it becomes visible. Direction shifts when the heart is corrected. What you carry determines resilience. A hopeful heart responds to setbacks with patience. A bitter heart reacts with frustration. Goals alone do not build endurance. Inner strength sustains effort when plans face obstacles. Carrying gratitude changes how plans unfold. Gratitude fosters appreciation for progress rather than obsession with results. This mindset reduces pressure and increases consistency. Direction becomes steady instead of rushed. Gratitude keeps the heart aligned during the journey. Ambition driven by ego feels different than ambition guided by purpose. Ego seeks validation while purpose seeks growth. The heart chooses which one leads. Goals follow that choice. Direction depends on sincerity rather than ambition alone. A heart filled with trust navigates uncertainty calmly. Plans may shift, but direction remains steady. Without trust, unexpected changes feel threatening. Carrying trust allows adaptation without panic. Direction stays intact even when plans adjust. Unexamined intentions can turn goals into burdens. When the heart seeks approval, achievement never satisfies. Addressing intention lightens the load. Plans become tools rather than sources of pressure. Direction improves when intention is refined. What you carry also influences how you treat others along the way. A heart heavy with frustration affects relationships. Relationships shape opportunities and growth. Direction is not traveled alone. Inner state impacts the path taken. A clean heart brings clarity to priorities. Some goals lose importance when the heart is aligned. This clarity simplifies decision making. Direction becomes purposeful rather than scattered. Less energy is wasted. plans focus on outcomes, but the heart governs process. The process shapes character. A heart aligned with values makes the process meaningful. Direction reflects who you are becoming, not just what you are achieving. Carrying peace allows patience with slow progress. Without peace, delays feel unbearable. Patience sustains long-term effort. Direction remains consistent even when results are delayed. The heart determines endurance. Inner honesty prevents self-deception. Goals set without honesty often serve the wrong purpose. A truthful heart adjusts plans when needed. Direction stays aligned with reality rather than illusion. The plans can change at any moment. The heart remains with you in every situation. What you carry influences every step. A settled heart leads to a steady direction. Growth begins by caring for the heart before building the plan. Unresolved emotions settle into the heart quietly, often unnoticed at first. What begins as a small hurt or disappointment can grow heavier over time. The soul carries these feelings into every decision, every interaction, and every plan. Progress slows when the heart is burdened. Growth requires space, and unresolved feelings occupy that space. Without release, the heart moves forward reluctantly. Resentment has a way of lingering beneath the surface. Even when life appears normal, bitterness influences reactions and thoughts. It drains energy and patience without asking permission. A heart weighed down by resentment struggles to feel peace. Letting go is not approval of harm, it is protection of the soul. Envy quietly redirects focus away from personal growth. Instead of building, the heart compares. Comparison steals gratitude and distorts perspective. Progress becomes measured by others rather than values. A heart trapped in envy remains restless. Release restores clarity and contentment. Regret often ties the heart to the past. Memories replay, mistakes resurface, and self-blame persists. While reflection is useful, dwelling becomes harmful. Progress requires movement forward, not constant return to what cannot be changed. Releasing regret opens space for learning. Unresolved hearts resist change because pain feels familiar. Holding on can feel safer than facing uncertainty. This attachment limits growth. Letting go requires courage. Courage allows the heart to step into new possibilities. The soul was not designed to carry emotional weight indefinitely. Prolonged burden leads to exhaustion. Exhaustion affects motivation and clarity. Releasing what weighs the heart renews energy. Renewal is essential for progress. Unaddressed emotions also affect relationships. Reactions become guarded or defensive. Trust weakens when the heart is closed. Progress in connection requires openness. Release softens interactions and restores understanding. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It means choosing not to let pain control the present. The heart can remember without being ruled by memory. This distinction allows healing. Healing creates forward movement. Progress stalls when emotions remain unnamed. Awareness is the first step toward release. Recognizing resentment or envy brings honesty. Honesty invites change. Change begins with acknowledgement. Holding on to unresolved feelings often creates inner conflict. The heart wants peace but clings to pain. This tension drains focus. Release resolves the conflict. Peace allows progress. Unresolved hearts often resist guidance. Advice feels intrusive when the heart is wounded. Letting go creates openness. Openness allows learning. Learning fuels growth. Release is not a single action, it is a process. Some days the heart lets go, other days it struggles. Patience with this process is essential. Gradual release leads to lasting freedom. Emotional baggage affects decision making. Choices made from hurt differ from those made from clarity. Progress requires decisions rooted in balance. Releasing pain restores that balance. Unresolved feelings can distort self-image. The heart begins to define itself by past experiences. This limits potential. Release allows the heart to redefine itself. Growth becomes possible again. Letting go also restores focus on what truly matters. Energy once spent holding pain becomes available for growth. The soul feels lighter. Lightness encourages forward movement. Release requires humility. Admitting the need to let go acknowledges vulnerability. Vulnerability invites healing. Healing strengthens the heart. Progress is not always visible immediately after release. The heart adjusts gradually. Trusting the process prevents discouragement. Patience supports transformation. Unresolved hearts often fear release because it feels like loss. In reality, release is gain. It restores peace and clarity. Progress follows naturally. Letting go also strengthens resilience. The heart learns that pain can be faced and released. This confidence supports future challenges. Growth becomes sustainable. Release aligns the heart with purpose. It removes obstacles that slow movement. Direction becomes clearer. Progress accelerates when the path is clear. Unresolved emotions are silent barriers. They block progress without obvious signs. Releasing them is an act of care and worship. A heart that lets go moves forward with strength, clarity, and peace. Repentance opens a door that nothing else can. It does not ask you to pretend you were never wrong, nor does it demand a perfect past. It invites honesty, humility, and return. A true beginning is not built on bold promises, but on sincere acknowledgement. When the heart turns back truthfully, renewal begins quietly. This return carries more power than any plan made in emotion. It is the start that actually lasts. Promises are easy to make when motivation is high. They sound strong and feel hopeful, but they often fade with time. Repentance is different because it is rooted in truth, not enthusiasm. It recognizes weakness and seeks help beyond the self. That recognition anchors change. A heart that returns honestly is already moving forward. True renewal requires facing reality without excuses. Repentance removes the need to justify mistakes. It replaces defense with responsibility. This shift clears the heart of resistance. When resistance falls, guidance enters. Returning honestly creates space for real transformation. Repentance is not a single moment. It is a posture of the heart. It keeps the soul flexible and aware. Each return strengthens humility. Humility keeps the heart teachable. A teachable heart grows steadily. Starting over often feels overwhelming because it imagines rebuilding everything at once. Repentance simplifies the process. It focuses on direction rather than distance. One sincere turn changes the trajectory. That change is enough to begin. True repentance is quiet and personal. It does not seek attention or approval. It seeks alignment. When alignment is restored, actions follow naturally. Renewal begins internally before it appears externally. Promises rely on self-confidence. Repentance relies on truth. Self-confidence fluctuates, but truth remains steady. A heart grounded in truth is not easily shaken. This steadiness supports lasting change. Returning honestly also heals guilt. Guilt loses its grip when acknowledged and released. Repentance transforms guilt into motivation. Motivation rooted in humility is sustainable. It pushes gently rather than forcefully. Renewal through repentance does not erase memory, it reshapes it. Past mistakes become lessons instead of chains. The heart learns without being trapped. Learning fuels progress. Repentance teaches patience. Change unfolds gradually after return. Expecting instant perfection creates pressure. Repentance removes that pressure. It allows growth to happen step by step. True renewal does not announce itself loudly. It begins with internal calm. The heart feels lighter, more focused. This calm supports consistency. Consistency builds momentum. Returning honestly also restores hope. Hope grounded in truth does not disappoint easily. It survives setbacks. Each stumble becomes another reason to return, not to quit. Repentance aligns intention with action. When intention is corrected, effort becomes meaningful. Meaning sustains energy. Energy directed properly leads to progress. Promises often focus on outcomes. Repentance focuses on direction. Direction matters more than speed. When direction is right, even slow movement is valuable. Returning honestly reduces fear of failure. Failure becomes part of the journey, not its end. Repentance provides a way back each time. This safety encourages effort. Renewal through repentance invites mercy into the process. Mercy softens mistakes and encourages return. A merciful approach keeps the heart engaged. Engagement leads to growth. True repentance requires sincerity, not perfection. Sincerity keeps the heart open. An open heart receives guidance easily. Guidance directs renewal. Repentance also strengthens self-awareness. Awareness prevents repetition of the same mistakes. Learning becomes intentional. Intentional learning supports improvement. A heart that returns honestly becomes resilient. It learns how to recover, not just how to avoid error. Recovery skills matter for long-term growth. Renewal that begins with repentance does not depend on circumstances. It can happen at any moment. This accessibility keeps hope alive. Hope fuels continued effort. Repentance is the truest beginning because it is rooted in reality. It does not deny the past. It transforms it. Returning honestly creates a foundation that promises cannot. From that foundation, real renewal grows steadily and sincerely. Accountability begins with the courage to pause and look inward. Before blaming circumstances or people, the heart must be willing to examine itself honestly. This pause creates space for clarity. Without it, life moves forward on autopilot. Reviewing yourself interrupts old patterns. It replaces habit with awareness. Clarity does not come from avoiding mistakes, but from understanding them. When you reflect on what went wrong, lessons surface naturally. These lessons guide future decisions. Ignoring reflection allows mistakes to repeat quietly. Accountability breaks that cycle. Self-review is not about self-criticism. It is about self-awareness. Awareness brings understanding without shame. When the heart understands its tendencies, it can adjust direction. Adjustment prevents repetition. Growth depends on this process. Looking back before moving forward gives perspective. It reveals patterns that were invisible while living through them. Repeated mistakes often share the same root. Accountability helps identify that root. Addressing it changes outcomes. Without accountability, intention alone is not enough. Good intentions fail when habits remain unexamined. Reflection exposes habits that sabotage progress. Once seen clearly, they can be replaced. Clarity empowers change. Reviewing yourself requires honesty. Honesty removes excuses. Excuses protect comfort but delay growth. Accountability accepts responsibility without despair. This acceptance opens the door to improvement. Clarity simplifies decision making. When past errors are understood, future choices become easier. The heart recognizes warning signs early. This recognition prevents falling into the same traps. Wisdom grows through reflection. Accountability also builds humility. Admitting mistakes lowers pride. Lowered pride increases openness to guidance. Guidance brings correction. Correction leads to better outcomes. When the year begins without reflection, old mistakes follow quietly. They appear in new forms but carry the same consequences. Accountability stops this repetition. It creates intentional breaks in behavior. Self-review strengthens discipline. Discipline grows when actions are evaluated. Evaluation encourages responsibility. Responsibility fosters consistency. Consistency supports progress. Accountability also protects hope. When mistakes are understood, they lose their power to discourage. Discouragement fades when lessons replace blame. Clarity restores confidence. Reflecting on behavior highlights what truly matters. Some mistakes reveal misplaced priorities. Recognizing this allows realignment. Realignment brings focus. Focus improves effort. Accountability sharpens intention. Intention becomes specific rather than vague. Specific intention leads to practical change. Change becomes measurable. Progress becomes visible. Reviewing yourself also improves relationships. Awareness of past reactions encourages better responses. Better responses build trust. Trust supports connection. Connection enriches growth. Clarity gained through accountability reduces fear. Fear often comes from uncertainty. Understanding past behavior removes uncertainty. Confidence replaces hesitation. Accountability turns mistakes into teachers. Each error carries information. Ignoring it wastes opportunity. Learning from it builds wisdom. Wisdom prevents repetition. Self-review encourages patience. Change takes time, and accountability recognizes gradual improvement. Patience prevents frustration. Steady effort replaces rushed attempts. Accountability also increases gratitude. Recognizing growth highlights progress made. Gratitude motivates continued effort. Effort becomes meaningful. Reflection before the year begins sets intention for change. It anchors goals in reality. Realistic goals succeed more often. Success reinforces discipline. Clarity also brings peace. When the heart understands itself, confusion lessens. Decisions feel aligned. Alignment reduces inner conflict. Accountability is a gift to yourself. It prevents wasted years and repeated pain. Reviewing yourself creates clarity. Clarity guides better choices. Better choices lead to meaningful progress. Silence is often misunderstood as emptiness, yet it carries depth that noise cannot offer. When the world becomes loud, the heart struggles to hear itself. Intentional silence creates a space where thoughts slow down and clarity begins to form. It is not an escape, but a return inward. In that quiet, sincerity finds room to breathe. Healing often begins where noise ends. Constant noise keeps the heart reactive rather than reflective. Voices, opinions, and distractions pull attention outward. Over time, the soul forgets how to sit with itself. Silence gently reverses this habit. It invites the heart to observe rather than respond. Observation reveals what truly matters. Intentional silence allows emotions to settle. Without constant stimulation, feelings rise naturally. This rise is not something to fear. It brings honesty. Honest awareness is the first step toward healing. Silence makes this awareness possible. When noise is reduced, priorities become clearer. What once felt urgent may reveal itself as unnecessary. What was ignored may finally be noticed. Silence rearranges importance. It aligns focus with values. This realignment restores balance. Sincerity surfaces in quiet moments. Without external influence, intentions become clearer. The heart recognizes whether actions are driven by truth or habit. This recognition guides correction. Silence strengthens authenticity. Stepping back from noise reduces emotional overload. Overload clouds judgment. Clarity requires calm. Silence provides that calm. Calm allows wiser choices to emerge. Intentional silence also restores energy. Constant engagement drains the soul. Quiet moments replenish strength. Renewed strength supports patience. Patience supports healing. Silence allows reflection without interruption. Reflection deepens understanding. Understanding leads to acceptance. Acceptance reduces inner conflict. Conflict dissolves when understanding grows. When the heart listens inwardly, it learns. Learning does not require constant input. Sometimes it requires space. Silence provides that space. Growth follows. Noise often masks discomfort. Silence reveals it. Revealing discomfort allows addressing it. Healing begins when discomfort is acknowledged. Silence facilitates this process. Intentional silence strengthens self-awareness. Awareness sharpens discernment. Discernment improves decision-making. Decisions made from clarity support growth. Quiet moments also reduce comparison. Without constant exposure, the heart stops measuring itself against others. Contentment increases. Contentment brings peace. Peace supports healing. Silence encourages presence. Presence connects the heart to the moment. This connection reduces anxiety. Anxiety fades when the heart feels grounded. Stepping back from noise improves listening. Listening deepens understanding. Understanding strengthens relationships. Strong relationships support emotional health. Silence also nurtures humility. Without external validation, the heart learns to value truth over approval. Humility fosters openness. Openness invites growth. Intentional silence helps release accumulated tension. The body and mind relax together. Relaxation allows healing. Healing restores balance. Quiet reflection reveals patterns. Patterns guide adjustment. Adjustment improves outcomes. Silence makes this process possible. When the heart is quiet, intuition strengthens. Intuition guides gently. Gentle guidance prevents harsh decisions. Balance is restored. Silence creates room for gratitude. Gratitude emerges when distractions fade. Gratitude nurtures joy. Joy supports resilience. Intentional silence is not withdrawal, it is alignment. It realigns focus, intention, and energy. This alignment promotes clarity. Clarity supports healing. Silence is a powerful teacher. It reveals truth without force. It heals without noise. Stepping back allows sincerity to surface and priorities to realign, creating space for lasting peace and growth. Gratitude is more than a reaction to good moments. It is a way of seeing life clearly. When the heart pauses to acknowledge what has already passed, it begins to understand its own journey. Even difficult seasons carry lessons that shaped strength and awareness. Thankfulness allows those lessons to settle without bitterness. It turns memory into wisdom. A grateful heart becomes ready for what comes next. Looking back with gratitude changes how the past is held. Instead of replaying pain, the heart recognizes survival. Instead of focusing on what was lost, it honors what remained. This shift softens emotional weight. Softness creates openness. Openness prepares the heart for growth. Gratitude grounds the heart in reality. It prevents exaggeration of loss and neglect of blessing. When the heart sees clearly, it no longer feels deprived. Contentment replaces restlessness. Contentment creates stability. Stability supports progress. Thankfulness does not deny hardship. It reframes it. The heart learns that not every difficulty was meant to break it. Some were meant to teach patience, resilience, or humility. Gratitude extracts meaning from struggle. Meaning gives purpose. Purpose prepares the soul for future responsibility. A grateful heart resists entitlement. It does not assume it deserves more simply because time has passed. Instead, it values what was given. This humility attracts growth. Growth thrives in humble spaces. Gratitude also heals comparison. When the heart appreciates its own journey, it stops measuring against others. Comparison fades and peace increases. Peace allows focus. Focus strengthens direction. When thankfulness becomes habitual, it changes daily perspective. Ordinary moments gain value. Small blessings become noticeable. This awareness nurtures joy. Joy supports endurance. Gratitude protects the heart from regret. Instead of dwelling on missed opportunities, it honors gained experience. Experience builds maturity. Maturity allows wiser choices ahead. Wisdom prepares the path forward. Thankfulness strengthens patience. A heart that appreciates what has passed trusts what is coming. Trust reduces anxiety. Reduced anxiety allows clarity. Clarity improves decisions. Gratitude also encourages generosity. When the heart feels full, it gives freely. Giving expands perspective. Expanded perspective invites abundance. Abundance is not only material, it is emotional and spiritual. A grateful heart is less reactive. It responds thoughtfully rather than impulsively. Thoughtful responses prevent unnecessary conflict. Peace is preserved. Peace supports growth. Thankfulness aligns intention with humility. It reminds the heart that progress is a gift, not a guarantee. This reminder keeps ambition balanced. Balanced ambition is sustainable. Gratitude transforms waiting. Waiting becomes preparation rather than frustration. Preparation builds readiness. Readiness attracts opportunity. Opportunity meets prepared hearts. When the heart appreciates what has passed, it releases resentment. Resentment blocks openness. Release restores flow. Flow supports momentum. Gratitude also deepens self-respect. Recognizing endurance honors personal effort. This recognition builds confidence. Confidence supports courage. Courage is needed for new beginnings. Thankfulness brings emotional closure. Closure allows the heart to move forward without dragging the past. Freedom follows closure. Freedom invites creativity. A grateful heart listens better. Listening improves understanding. Understanding strengthens relationships. Healthy relationships support growth. Gratitude nurtures hope. Hope grows when the heart remembers past support. Support experienced before builds trust. Trust opens the heart to future blessings. Thankfulness reduces fear of loss. When the heart values what it had, it trusts its ability to value what comes. Fear loosens its grip. Calm replaces tension. Gratitude also sharpens awareness of timing. The heart recognizes that not everything arrives at once. Patience develops. Patience prepares the heart for responsibility. A thankful heart remains flexible. It adapts rather than resists change. Adaptability improves resilience. Resilience supports long-term growth. Gratitude turns endings into transitions. Transitions feel lighter than losses. Lightness allows movement. Movement leads forward. When the heart appreciates its journey, it carries less baggage. Less baggage means more capacity. Capacity allows reception. Reception invites more. Thankfulness strengthens inner balance. Balance prevents extremes. Extremes exhaust the soul. Balance sustains progress. A grateful heart remains teachable. It sees life as a continuous lesson. Learning keeps the heart young. Youthful hearts grow. Gratitude is preparation. It clears space, restores balance, and builds trust. Thankfulness for what passed does not trap the heart in memory. It opens doors for what is coming, allowing the soul to step forward ready, steady, and open. A clean heart is not one that has never been tested, but one that remains sincere despite trials. It carries clarity instead of confusion and humility instead of arrogance. When intentions are pure, the soul moves with confidence rather than fear. Inner alignment creates a calm strength that cannot be forced. This state prepares the heart to receive help. Divine ease often begins internally before it appears outwardly. When the heart is aligned, distractions lose their grip. Decisions become simpler because priorities are clear. Conflicting desires settle, allowing focus to return. This clarity reduces unnecessary struggle. Ease enters naturally when resistance fades. A settled heart invites smoother paths ahead. Inner alignment removes emotional clutter. Resentment, pride, and doubt no longer compete for space. With fewer internal conflicts, energy is conserved. This conservation strengthens resilience. Strength attracts support. Divine help often arrives where the heart is ready to receive it. A clean heart responds to challenges with patience. Patience changes how difficulty is experienced. Instead of panic, there is composure. Composure allows wisdom to guide action. Wise action leads to better outcomes. Ease follows thoughtful movement. When the inside is aligned, trust replaces anxiety. Trust steadies the heart during uncertainty. Uncertainty feels less threatening when trust is present. This steadiness opens doors that fear keeps closed. Divine help flows where trust resides. Alignment also sharpens awareness. The heart recognizes opportunities that were once overlooked. Awareness transforms obstacles into lessons. Lessons build understanding. Understanding attracts guidance. Guidance leads to ease. A clean heart does not carry hidden motives. Transparency within removes inner tension. Tension clouds judgment and drains energy. Releasing it restores balance. Balanced hearts move forward smoothly. Ease follows balance. Inner alignment strengthens intention. Clear intention focuses effort. Focus prevents wasted energy. Efficient effort produces better results. Results feel lighter when effort is aligned. Ease becomes a natural outcome. When the heart is aligned, reactions soften. Anger diminishes. Impatience fades. Calm responses preserve peace. Peace supports clarity. Clarity invites help at the right moment. A clean heart also nurtures humility. Humility keeps the soul open to learning. Learning prevents stagnation. Growth continues steadily. Steady growth attracts support. Divine assistance accompanies humility. Alignment reduces inner resistance. Resistance often creates unnecessary hardship. When resistance dissolves, movement becomes fluid. Fluid movement conserves strength. Strength supports endurance. Endurance invites ease. A heart aligned with its values avoids regret. Decisions feel consistent rather than conflicted. Consistency builds confidence. Confidence reduces hesitation. Reduced hesitation smooths the path ahead. When the inside is aligned, the heart accepts outcomes calmly. Acceptance does not mean passivity, it means clarity. Clear acceptance allows adaptive action. Adaptive action avoids unnecessary struggle. Ease follows adaptability. A clean heart strengthens emotional resilience. Resilience allows recovery after setbacks. Recovery prevents discouragement. Continued effort becomes possible. Persistence attracts guidance. Alignment also improves relationships. Clear intentions reduce misunderstanding. Healthy connections provide support. Support eases burdens. Shared ease multiplies strength. When inner alignment is present, gratitude flows naturally. Gratitude sustains hope. Hope energizes effort. Energized effort feels lighter. Lightness invites ease. A clean heart is free from excessive comparison. Comparison disrupts contentment. Contentment stabilizes the soul. Stability allows growth. Growth attracts help. Inner alignment sharpens discernment. Discernment guides choices wisely. Wise choices prevent unnecessary complications. Simplicity replaces struggle. Ease thrives in simplicity. When the heart is aligned, it listens more than it reacts. Listening reveals guidance. Guidance prevents missteps. Fewer missteps create smoother journeys. A clean heart holds intentions gently, not forcefully. Gentle effort lasts longer. Longevity builds momentum. Momentum attracts opportunity. Opportunity brings ease. Alignment reduces fear of the future. Fear blocks creativity. Creativity opens solutions. Solutions ease challenges. Ease follows innovation. A clean heart adapts without losing direction. Adaptability maintains progress. Progress builds confidence. Confidence attracts support. Inner alignment also encourages patience with timing. Patience prevents rushed decisions. Rushed decisions often create hardship. Calm timing brings ease. When the heart is clean, it carries fewer burdens. Fewer burdens allow greater capacity. Capacity enables reception. Reception invites help. Alignment nurtures inner peace. Peace strengthens resolve. Strong resolve supports consistency. Consistency attracts guidance. Divine help is not random. It flows toward hearts that are aligned, sincere, and clear. When the inside is settled, the path ahead becomes lighter. A clean heart does not remove challenges, but it attracts ease in facing them. As you prepare to step into 2026, remember that the most important preparation is not external, but internal. Years do not change lives on their own, hearts do. When the heart is honest, humble, and willing to realign, the path ahead becomes lighter, even if challenges remain. You are not asked to be perfect, only sincere. Let go of what weighs you down. Return with truth and carry gratitude for what has shaped you. A clean heart does not come from forgetting the past, but from learning from it and moving forward without bitterness. Enter this new year with awareness, accountability, and trust. Trust that Allah knows what lies ahead, and that when you align what is inside, He places ease in what comes next. Every sincere step counts, even the quiet ones no one else sees. Let 2026 begin not with empty promises, but with a heart ready to grow, ready to forgive, and ready to return whenever it slips. This is how real change begins, not loudly, but deeply. May this new year be a year of clarity, peace, and closeness. And may you walk into it with a heart that is lighter, cleaner, and fully open to the mercy that awaits.